What is up, guys? Welcome on back to TK's Garage. And before we get into today's video, I got to talk about the sponsor, me. Go check out tksgarage.com. We literally just relaunched this site using Fourth Wall as a builder slash support system, which is great. People that buy stuff or do anything through the website allows us to send them personal messages, stuff like that. We got the hoodies, the hats, all different kinds of stuff. There'll be tools on there in the near future, all kinds of stuff. So definitely go check it out at tksgarage.com. Today's video, industry is tired of waiting. I saw this over on New York One. It's getting a lot of traction, and I'll put it up here for you guys on the screen. But it says industry groups ask Congress to end California vehicle emission rules. Now, I've talked about this before with emissions. There's a mass exodus of staff at CARB that are going to try to look at working at different agencies or going to the private sector. There's a reason for that. They see the writing on the wall. There's the Transportation Freedom Act. There's the Stop CARB Act, which has a new name, as Mike Lee and this representative from Texas have reintroduced that. That's legislation. There is 19 Congressional Review Act pieces of legislation. 9 have already been pushed through, on rubber tires, on methane gas emissions, on drilling. A lot of that stuff's already gone through. But the one thing that's still pending, and it's sitting there, and industry is sick of waiting, because this is not, they don't have to reach across the aisle. But here's the thing. There's Democrats and Republicans that will vote for this, especially Democrats in Michigan that are representatives want this to go through, because it means that the people they represent in their districts in Michigan have better jobs. There's gonna be more demand for cars because they don't have this crap as vehicle prices come down. So there's a letter that was sent to the Senate and House leaders from the American Fuel and Petrochemical Manufacturers Association and 110 other organizations said that rules requiring the production of more electric vehicles will harm the U.S. economy and threaten national security because of the reliance on adversaries for critical materials. Now, there's just some what you need to know stuff. I'll talk about those, and then I'll talk about why when this CRA, because I get this all the time. Well, when are they going to stop doing smog in California, TK? When can I delete my truck? Yes, the language here is very specific, and it would mean that all of it would be legal. But let's get into it. What you need to know: a coalition of groups representing the fuel, agriculture, and transportation industries, including Toyota, Stellantis, Honda, General Motors, and Ford, are urging Congress to end California's ability to set its own vehicle emission standards. Now, the EPA, just so you know, this article was published the 18th, today, okay? The EPA has already said, we're ending this. This is over. This is done, okay? But that's just the EPA doing it. The next president could come in and change that. Sorry for the camera pulsing. It's probably because I don't have enough lights on in here. But anyways, they could change that, right? So in a letter to Senate and House leaders, we already talked about that. In 2022, California adopted the latest in a long-standing string of regulations to transition the state to 100% zero-emission vehicles by 2035. That's over. Now, one of the things that I think is huge here, I don't know why this thing won't stay in focus. I'm about to smash this camera. In February, EPA Administrator Lee Zeldin recommended ending a 15-year-old finding that greenhouse gas emissions threaten public health. That is the endangerment finding. That's what we were talking about this week, that he came out with the largest deregulatory announcement ever in the history of government, basically, right? That was the stuff that we talked about last week. Now, this is the huge part we're going to get into right here. So this is where, and I'm going to put a link too for the article if you want to read it for New York One. I'll probably tag it or put it in the comment section down below if you guys want to read it. But they get into the specifics here. The Federal Clean Air Act of 1967 gave California the authority to set its own emission standards because of its unique weather and geography, okay? Which led to severe air pollution. Through the Clean Air Act, the state sets more stringent tailpipe emission standards than what the EPA requires nationally. In February, EPA Administrator Lee Zeldin recommended the federal government no longer recognize a 15-year-old finding that greenhouse gas emissions threaten public health and welfare. The so-called endangerment finding requires the EPA to take action under the Clean Air Act to curb emissions. This is where it says, quote, and I'm gonna screen grab this and put it right here on the screen so you can read it in detail. Without it, and it's right here, without it, the EPA no longer has the legal authority to regulate emissions from vehicles. That means diesel trucks, semi-trucks, cars, nothing, no motor vehicle is subject to EPA review. Do you know what that means? EPA can't say anything about deleting a vehicle. EPA can't say anything about somebody not having catalytic converters on their gas engine. On their gas car. EPA can't say anything about MDS or displacement on demand or anything else in the automotive industry. In their letter, the group said that they support using the Congressional Review Act, a law that requires both houses of Congress to review a federal agency's rule before it can take effect. Now, they also reached out to the California Air Resources Board, who magically has no comment. That's not a shock. But there's a couple other YouTube channels that have talked about this. I saw Car Coach Reports. I know she does similar automotive news type things, more professional than me, by the way. But I saw that she posted something about this too, like, where is it? Why are we waiting so long? Well, industry's tired of waiting. So there's a couple things that you can do by reaching out to your congressman directly and telling them to get this CRA and push it through. Because here's the thing. It doesn't need a supermajority. You do not need 60 senators in the Senate to pass this. You need a simple majority in the House, a simple majority in the Senate. The president signs it. It's over. This could be done tomorrow. I don't know what it is that these House representatives and senators are doing. I know they keep proposing all this legislation. I appreciate Senator Moreno with the Transportation Freedom Act. I think it's great. I think the Stop CARB Act from Mike Lee and the rep from Texas is great. But there's something that we don't have to fight about in the Senate with either one of those bills. And that's just push this CRA thing through and it ends it. There's no debate. There's no discussion. It's the law and it's done. Why are we playing games with this? So if you really care and you want to make a difference, call your congressman. You're not going to actually talk to your congressman. I'm going to tell you that right now. But you'll talk to one of their aides, and it's amazing what happens. People think that hundreds of calls have to come into their congressman for them to care. And they do get hundreds of calls a day for a myriad of things. But if 10 calls come in for the same thing to one of their aides are going to be like, hey, people actually care about this thing. We need to push this through. And that's the only damn thing they care about in Congress, getting reelected. Period, end of story. So for all you guys that are like, I'm tired of doing small checks. I don't want to do them anymore. I want to delete my diesel. I want to cut this shit off my gas car. Call your congressman. Have them push this through. And then we can still be excited about the Transportation Freedom Act. We can still be excited about the Stop CARB Act and whatever the hell they're calling it now. And all this other legislation that's being proposed. We can also be excited about them repealing the entire Clean Air Act. Oh, look, I'm excited about all of it. But there is a method on the table, and there is a CRA already proposed that's just been sitting, as they're doing all these other ones that don't affect automotive directly, right? I mean, the tire one somewhat affects automotive, can be loosely used for car manufacturing, but Lee Zeldin's done his part. He's already said that he's pulling everything back to 1970, basically, okay? But to make sure that it can never be proposed again or changed, this has to happen. And that comes on me, and that comes on you. And if this camera comes out of focus one more time, I feel like I'm going to smash it. This is ridiculous. $12,000 camera can't film. I'm like, this is stupid. I don't know what's going on. I think maybe something going on in my lens. Anyways, I'm going to end the video because I'm already getting frustrated about what's going on with Congress. I'm getting frustrated that we're even talking about this and it's not done already. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below. And like I said, there's different avenues to this. The EPA has already done their part. They've cut it. It's gone. The DOT has already said CAFE standards are dead. The critical part here to make sure it never happens again is Congress. And that's passing the CRA and making this happen. And they could do it now. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below. Give the video a big thumbs up if you like what I do. Hit the subscribe button if you haven't already. Make sure to go check out tk'sgarage.com. Go check out our new site. Let me know what you think. And until next time, as always, stay petty, my friends. I'm going to smash this friggin' camera.